Hello everyone, we are the group 4. Today, we will going to discuss with you about the endocrine system. So before we start, let us first read our objectives. At the end of the lesson, the student should be able to compare control of body functions by the nervous system and endocrine system. Distinguish between exocrine and endocrine glands. Compare the two chemical classes of hormones based on their solubility. So, what is endocrine system? Endocrine system is a network of glands in our body that makes the hormones that help cells talk to each other. Endocrine system are responsible for almost every cells, organs, and functions in our body. It's similar to nervous system in that it plays a vital role sa pagkontrol at kinokontrol ang bawat pagana ng ating katawan. Endocrine system also made up glands na siyang gumagawa ng mga hormone. So, kinokontrol ng endocrine system kung magkano sa bawat hormone ang papakawalan. Maaari itong nakasalalay sa mga antas ng mga hormone na nasa dugo or on levels of other substances in the blood like calcium. Maraming mga bagay ang nakakaapekto sa mga antas ng hormone katulad ng stress, infection, and changes in the balance of fluid at mga mineral sa dugo. Endocrine system function. Ayon sa aking nabanggit, the endocrine system is responsible for regulating a range of bodily functions sa pamamagitan ng pag-release ng mga hormone. So, here are some examples of bodily functions that are controlled by the endocrine system include metabolism, growth and development, sexual function and reproduction, heart rate, blood pressure, appetite, sleeping and waking cycles, and body temperature. So, endocrine system organs. The endocrine system is made up of a complex network of glands, which are organs that secrete substances. The glands of the endocrine system ay kung saan ang mga hormone ay ginagawa, nakaimbak, at inilalabas. Each gland produces one or more hormones, which go on to target specific organs at mga tissues sa katawan. The glands of the endocrine system include hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, adrenal, and pancreas. So in the hypothalamus, it produces multiple hormones that control the pituitary gland. It also involved in regulating many functions, including sleep-wake cycles, body temperature, and appetite. It can also regulate the function of other endocrine glands. Pituitary. Ang pituitary gland ay matatagpuan sa ibaba ng hypothalamus. The hormones it produces affect growth and reproduction. They can also control the function of other endocrine glands. Pineal. This gland is found in the middle of your brain. It's important for our sleep-wake cycle. Thyroid. Ang thyroid gland ay matatagpuan sa harap ng bahagi ng ating leeg. It is very important for metabolism. Parathyroid. Ang parathyroid gland ay matatagpuan din sa harap ng ating leeg. Parathyroid gland is important for maintaining control of calcium levels in our bones and blood. Thymus. Located in the upper torso. The thymus is active until puberty and produces hormones important for the development of a type of white blood cell called T cell. Adrenal. One adrenal gland can be found on top of each kidney. These glands produce hormones important for regulating functions such as blood pressure, heart rate, and stress response. Pancreas. The pancreas is located in our abdomen behind our stomach. Its endocrine function involves controlling blood sugar levels. Some endocrine glands also have non-endocrine functions. For example, the ovaries and testes produce hormones, but they also have the non-endocrine function of producing eggs and sperms. As girls and boys enter puberty, nagsisimula silang makabuo ng mga kapansin-pansin na pagkakaiba sa pisikal na hitsura at pag-uugali. Perhaps no other period in life so dramatically shows the impact of endocrine system in directing development and regulating body functions. So, sa mga babae, estrogens promote accumulation of adipose tissue in the breast and hips, sculpting a feminine shape. At the same time, increasing levels of testosterone in boys begin to help build muscle mass and enlarge the vocal cords, producing a lower pitched voice. These charges are just a few examples of the powerful influence of endocrine secretions. Less dramatically, perhaps multitudes of hormones help maintain homeostasis on a daily basis. A. Comparison of control by the nervous and endocrine system. Hormones regulate the activity of smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, and some glands. After metabolism, spore growth and development influence reproductive processes and participate in circadian or daily rhythms. In nervous system, the nervous system can respond quickly to stimuli through the use of action potentials and neurotransmitters. Responses to nervous system stimulation are typically quick but short-lived. An example is the recoil mechanism ng isang braso kapag hinahawakan ang isang bagay na mainit. The endocrine system responds to stimulation by secreting hormones into the circulatory system na nagta-travel to the target tissue. Uses hormones which act more slowly in distant parts of the body. Responses to endocrine system stimulation are typically slow but long-lasting. Additionally, the target cells can respond to minute quantities of hormones and are sensitive to subtle changes in hormone concentration. Ang halimbawa dito is the pituitary gland are responsible for sustained growth during childhood.
Letter B, what is endocrine glands? So, endocrine glands ay ito yung iba't ibang system sa ating katawan. For example, thyroid glands, parathyroid glands, pituitary glands, and adrenal glands. So, secrete hormones into interstitial fluid, then the hormones diffuse into the blood and it also delivers to target tissues. Halimbawa, nagpagawas daw siya og hormones, tapos ang hormones is mag-diffuse siya sa atong dugo paadto sa target niya nga tissues, which is halimbawa naisunog. So, mag-release ang hormones gikan sa atong brain padulong sa atong adrenaline gland nato para mag-response ta na naisunog. So, mao to siya if 'di ba naisunog, makaya na to maasang karang bugat kay tungod sa hormones na gi-release. So, next is location of many endocrine glands. The hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and pineal gland are in your brain. The thyroid and parathyroid glands are in your neck. The thymus is between your lungs. The adrenals are on the top of your kidneys. And the pancreas is behind your stomach. And ovary is in the female and also have placenta during pregnancy. And male naman is merong testicle. So next is endocrine glands, a gland that makes substances such as sweat, tears, saliva, and digestive juices and releases them through a duct or opening to a body surfaces. So ang sudoriferous, sebaceous, mucous, and digestive nag-iipon ng product patungo sa ducts or sa ugat, patungo sa body cavities or sa body surfaces natin. So next is endocrine system. Consists of endocrine glands such as pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, adrenal, and pineal glands, and other hormone-secreting tissues such as hypothalamus, thymus, pancreas, ovaries, testes, kidneys, stomach, liver, small intestine, skin, heart, adipose tissue, and placenta. It also chemical messenger system na binubuo ng feedback loops of hormones na nire-release ng internal glands of an organisms na dumediretso patungo sa circulatory system to regulate distant target organs. So next is the basic difference between endocrine glands and exocrine glands. Endocrine glands are the glands that secrete hormones without ducts, while exocrine glands secrete hormones through ducts. Sa madaling sabi, ang endocrine glands ay walang ducts, samantala naman ang exocrine glands ay merong ducts. Sa secretory products naman nila sa endocrine ay merong hormones, samantala ang exocrine glands ay merong sweat, enzymes, mucus, and sebum. So next is, what is hormones? Hormones are chemical substances that act like messenger molecules in the body. For example, insulin is a hormone that's made by the beta cells in the pancreas. When it's released into the blood, insulin helps regulate how the cells of the body use glucose, which is a type of sugar, for energy of our body. So next is C, hormone activity. Ang hormones ay nakakaapekto lang siya sa specific target cells na merong receptors to recognize para sa mga naipon na bigay na hormones. The number of hormones receptors may decrease or down regulations or increase up regulation. Pangalawa, yung mga hormones naman na naglilipat-lipat na pumapasok sa bloodstream, which is yung local hormones, yung paracrines and autocrines, nagre-react doon sa mga katabing cells. Chemically, hormones ay maaaring lipid-soluble tulad ng steroids, thyroid hormones, and nitric oxide, or water-soluble, or amine, peptides, proteins, and glycoproteins, and eucosine. Pangatlo, water-soluble hormone molecules na nakapalibot in the watery blood plasma na naka-free form, in which not attached to plasma proteins. Most lipid-soluble hormones are nakatali to transport proteins synthesized sa pamamagitan ng liver. So next is functions of hormones. Number 1 is help to regulate or ayusin ang chemical composition and volume of internal environment, in which is interstitial fluid, metabolism and energy balance, construction of smooth and cardiac muscle fibers, glandular secretion, some immune system. Number 2 is growth control and development. Number 3, regulate operations of reproductive system. Number 4, help establish circadian rhythms. So next is C, hormone activity. Ang hormones ay nakakaapekto lang siya sa specific target cells na merong receptors to recognize para sa mga naipon na bigay na hormones. The number of hormones receptors may decrease or down regulations or increase up regulation. Pangalawa, yung mga hormones naman na naglilipat-lipat na pumapasok sa bloodstream, which is yung local hormones, yung paracrines and autocrines, nagre-react doon sa mga katabing cells. Chemically, hormones ay maaaring lipid-soluble tulad ng steroids, thyroid hormones, and nitric oxide, or water-soluble, or amine, peptides, proteins, and glycoproteins, and eucosine. Pangatlo, water-soluble hormone molecules na nakapalibot in the watery blood plasma na naka-free form, in which not attached to plasma proteins. Most lipid-soluble hormones are nakatali to transport proteins synthesized sa pamamagitan ng liver. So next is functions of hormones. Number 1 is help to regulate or ayusin ang chemical composition and volume of internal environment, in which is interstitial fluid, metabolism and energy balance, construction of smooth and cardiac muscle fibers, glandular secretion, some immune system. Number 2 is growth control and development. Number 3, regulate operations of reproductive system. Number 4, help establish circadian rhythms.
D. Control of hormone secretion. Hormone production and release are primarily controlled by negative feedback. In negative feedback systems, a stimulus elicits the release of a substance. Once the substance reaches a certain level, it sends a signal that stops further release of the substance. So, ang mga hormone ay mga sangkap ng chemical na kumikilos tulad ng mga molecule messenger sa ating katawan. Matapos gawin sa isang bahagi ng katawan, naglalakbay sila sa iba pang mga bahagi ng katawan kung saan nakakatulong silang makontrol kung paano gumagana ang mga cell at organ. Halimbawa, ang insulin ay isang hormone na ginawa ng mga beta cell sa pancreas. Hormone secretion is controlled by signals from the nervous system, chemical changes in blood, and other hormones. Ang hormone secretion ay kinukontrol ng mga signal mula sa nervous system and the changes of chemicals in our blood at sa iba pang mga hormone. Negative feedback systems regulate the secretion of many hormones. So, isang halimbawa ng negative feedback ay ang regulation calcium level sa ating dugo. Ang mga parathyroid glands ay nagtatago ng parathyroid hormone that controls level of calcium in our blood. Kung nababawasan ang calcium, mararamdaman ng mga parathyroid glands ang pagbawas at pagtago ng mga mas maraming parathyroid hormone. Okay? So, there are 3 mechanisms of hormonal release, which are the humoral stimuli, hormonal stimuli, and neural stimuli. First, humoral stimulus refers to the control of hormone release in response to changes in extracellular fluids such as blood or the ion concentration in the blood. Humoral stimuli, example, ang pagtaas ng level ng glucose sa ating dugo, it triggers the release pancreas ng insulin. Okay. Hormonal stimuli refers to the release of a hormone in response to another hormone. A number of endocrine glands release hormones when stimulated by hormones released by the other endocrine glands. So, hormonal stimuli, ang halimbawa nito ay ang ating hypothalamus ay gumagawa ng mga hormone na nagpapasigla sa naunang bahagi ng pituitary gland. Okay. So, neural stimulus is a hormone that is released by the glands of the endocrine system. Neural stimulus, example of this, kapag kinakailangan ng isang tugon sa stress, ang sympathetic nerve system ay nagpapasigla sa adrenal gland upang palabasin ang mga neural stimuli, adrenaline at noradrenaline, o kilala rin bilang epinephrine at norepinephrine. So, thyroid gland produces a hormone that regulates the rate of metabolism or the chemical changes that take place in cell to produce energy. So, thyroid glands ay bahagi ng endocrine system na binubuo ng mga glands na gumagawa, nag-iimbak, nagpapalabas ng mga hormones sa daluyan ng ating dugo upang maabot ng mga hormone ang ating body cells. Gumagamit ang thyroid gland ng iodine mula sa mga pagkaing kinakain natin upang makagawa ng ibang mga hormone. Pituitary gland, the so-called master gland that manufactures several hormones of great importance in physical growth and development. So, ang pituitary gland daw ay gumagawa ng prolactin na kumikilos sa mga breasts to induce milk production. Sa pamamagitan ng secretion of hormone, kinukontrol ng pituitary gland ang metabolism, growth, sexual, maturation, blood pressure at marami pang ibang mahalagang physical functions and processes. Last is the gonads, which are responsible for the bodily changes in boys and girls at adolescence. So, ang mga gonad, ang pangunahing mga reproductive organs, which are the testes in the male, in the ovaries in the female. Ang mga organs na ito ay responsible sa paggawa ng sperm and ova. Excuse. Ngunit, nagtatago din sila ng mga hormone and they considered as endocrine glands.
The development of endocrine system. The development of the endocrine system is not as localized as in other systems because endocrine organs develop in widely separated parts of the embryo. The endocrine system regulates growth, metabolism, and body homeostasis using hormones that target organs via and bloodstream. Endocrine system develop in widely separated parts of the embryo. It means it is not concentrated in other systems. The endocrine system originates from all three germ layers of the embryo, including the endoderm, ectoderm, and mesoderm. Endoderm means an embryonic germ layer that gives rise to tissues that form internal structure and organs. The function of it is to construct the living of two tubes within the body. Ectoderm is also a germ layer that forms in an animal embryo during development. It covers the outside of the embryo. Mesoderm present in animal embryos that will give rise to specialized tissue type. In general, different hormone classes arise from distinct germ layers. Aging affects the endocrine glands, potentially affecting hormone production and secretion and can cause disease. The production of hormones such as human growth hormone, cortisol, aldosterone, sex hormones, and the thyroid hormones decrease with age. When we become old, our endocrine glands will affect and together with our hormone, and it can cause a disease. The endocrine system provides an electrochemical connection from the hypothalamus of the brain to organs that control the body's metabolism, growth and development, and of reproduction. The system regulates hormones through negative feedback, except in very specific cases like childbirth. Increase in hormone activity decrease the production of that hormone. The immune system and other factors contribute to maintenance of constant hormone level. The main endocrine glands are the hypothalamus, neuroendocrine gland, pituitary, anterior and posterior lobes, thyroid, parathyroid, adrenal, cortex and medulla, pancreas, and gonads. So, endocrine provides electrochemical that control the development, reproduction, as well as the metabolism of the body. Role of the thyroid glands. Thyroid glands is the primary endocrine glands involved in development and one of the largest endocrine glands in the body. It is positioned on the neck just below the larynx and has two lobes, one on either side of the trachea. It is involved in the production of the hormones T3, triiodotropin, and T4, thyroxine. Thyroid is one of the largest endocrine glands in the body. Thyroid system. The thyroid gland controls how quickly the body uses energy, makes proteins, and how sensitive the body is to other hormones. Three of the most important hormones exist in the endocrine system affected by aging are growth hormone, GH slash insulin dash like growth factor I, IGF dash I, cortisol, dihydroepiandrosterone, DHEA, and testosterone estradiol. Growth hormone, GH slash insulin dash like, growth factor I, IGF dash I axis. With aging, a decrease in the amount of circulating GH and consequently IGF-I results in weaker bones with a low bone mineral density BMD. So, when our age grows, it will decrease in the amount of circulating GH and it can cause with weaker bones with a low bone mineral density. Cortisol, dihydroepiandrosterone, or DHEA. Another hormone axis that changes with aging is the cortisol or DHEA axis. The hypothalamus pituitary adrenal pathway plays an integral role in controlling immune function. Two adrenal hormones, DHEA and cortisol, have opposing effect on immune system function, with DHEA generally enhancing immunity and cortisol suppressing it. Testosterone estradiol. Testosterone is a steroid hormone secreted by the Leydig cells that can act upon many target organs, resulting in development of secondary sexual characteristics in growth, sport, and puberty. Testosterone is in the male body. It is a steroid hormone secreted by the Leydig cells. Leydig cells are interstitial cells located adjacent to the seminiferous tubules in the testes. Estradiol is the female equivalent to testosterone and is secreted from granulosa cells. It is also a steroid that acts directly on many target organs to develop secondary sexual characteristics and prepare the uterus for potential pregnancy each month. Estradiol, it is secreted from granulosa cell. It is a follicular cell. It is a somatic cell of the sex cord that is closely associated with the developing female gamete, called an egg, in the ovary of mammals. The endocrine system consists of glands and organs that produce and release hormones that affect body in different ways and help control functions including tissue homeostasis, growth, and development. reproduction, response to stress, and metabolism. The endocrine system is a gland that is the glands that produces and release hormones that can affect in the body in a different ways. It helps to control the functions and growth and development, tissues, reproduction, metabolism, and response to stress. That's all. Thank you.